Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Nick.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Katie's here.
Good morning.
Good morning. I hope Kyle is going to join us soon. And Spence is back in town, so I don't know why he's not here because he said he was going to. But we'll see. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. So, other than our president getting COVID, anything else happened this week?
No, not particularly.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't really been paying attention to the news.
So
tell me what's been happening.
I have no idea. All I know is I saw a shot, something that he got COVID. Well, nobody's immune.
Wishing a speedy recovery.
Yep.
Always the speediest. I've got a couple of things to maybe get the conversation rolling here.
Okay.
Katie, you dabble in crypto at all?
No, it kind of scares me, to be honest.
Well, I guess you're not the only one. So I saw this article this week. The United States, I don't remember who it is. I think it's the Security Exchange Commission is filed criminal charges over insider trading of crypto, which is interesting because crypto is not a backed security. So it's interesting that they have accused this, and it's actually former Coinbase employees. Claim is that some of these folks were using inside information to either buy or sell these coins, and I guess it's still considered insider trading. I don't really understand how that works because they're not backed securities and they're not securities at all. So I'm not sure how you can do insider trading with that, but I think this indicates more and more of the U.S. government specifically trying to kind of weasel its way into crypto one way or the other.
I was about to say, how does that even work? Because I thought the government didn't want to recognize crypto as like an actual legitimate form of currency or something. So
they don't.
Yeah. So then they're trying to what is the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Control it? What? I don't.
Well, that's the problem. Is like they don't want to. So, well, the Federal Reserve is going to release their own cryptocurrency, which was supposed to be done like last year, and they still haven't done it. But nevertheless, so they don't want it. They don't want to. I think it's that they don't want to be responsible for it. So, like, if you invest, you put all your money in. What was that one coin that lost like 70% of its value? It was supposed to be a stable coin, and it ended up losing all of its value. Nevertheless, the government doesn't want to be responsible for that, but they don't like the fact that now people are sending large sums of money and doing large transactions, and it's bypassing the SEC, it's bypassing the FTC, and they don't have control over that, and I think it really pisses them off.
They're not getting their share from it.
I was about to say,
it's not even their share, but it's the control. Like if you're trying to do something, large asset wise as a company, you have to go through the SEC to get it done. And now you can send, presumably, and it's not happened, but you could send billions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency back and forth, and they can't do or say anything about it. They have no control over it.
Well, here, I was just thinking about this, and maybe I just don't understand how the internet works, but like, how can the U.S. government try to delegate or whatever cryptocurrency, like, if it's not based in the US, right? I'm assuming they have servers all over the world. So then does that mean they're going to take ownership and like then they can I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? Like how do they have any jurisdiction over it? But if they don't recognize it or if it's not something that is I don't know, owned in the States.
They don't have jurisdiction over the coin itself, but what they do have jurisdiction is over companies like Coinbase, which is a US-based company, which is actually traded on the stock exchange, funny enough. I think, yeah, almost positive Coinbase is publicly traded. So you can just shut them down. So, I mean, you could still use it, but if there's no friendly platform to use it or just to send it back and forth, it will be relegated back to where it was prior to Coinbase, which was a very small group of people that had the technical ability and want and need to use it. Now everybody's buying crypto. I mean, Christ, banks are now like, I think, like TD Ameritrade and some of these like big banks and investing platforms, you can now invest in crypto right in these platforms.
You know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing that this stuff's still going to happen. The U.S. government isn't going to be able to stop it or mitigate it or whatever. All of these people are just going to go elsewhere. Like they're going to, if Coinbase is a U.S. company, then they're going to open up a shop somewhere else so that they don't like it's like these people operate online anyways, and they want to get away from regulation. So if you try to put a cap on it, they're going to find a way around it.
How about them? How about that would be I believe it would be the FTC. What if the FTC doesn't allow your bank to accept transactions from this company? So now your money's in Coinbase, can't get it out, can't get it in. Because the banks.
This is complicated, economical things that my brain on an early Sunday morning cannot process.
The thing there is that the government would like to get into it and control it. They probably know that they cannot, but they need to be there right now because they know that whatever they say, people will still be doing it. So we need to see what is happening. The minute the government, like I can't remember who said that, the minute the government regulates it, it's no longer quote unquote crypto. It's regular money going back and forth.
And I just thought of a solution. Granted, like I said, I'm no economical expert, but like if American banks won't take it, so then you can't take your crypto and exchange it into US dollars, then, maybe a Chinese bank will do it and they'll take a 2% fee or whatever. So you can get Chinese dollars out of it. And then that you could switch over to American money. It was like an extra step. But I mean, like if I could figure that out, people smarter than me could figure out a better solution. But like people will just go around it.
Yeah. And they are.
But the masses won't go around it. That's the difference. The hardcore crypto people will always have a solution. But regular Joe Schmo that just has a Coinbase account and really doesn't care that much, they shut down Coinbase. They make it impossible to withdraw or deposit out of your Coinbase account because they're based in another country. He's going to be like, yeah, screw it. I guess I don't really care. And that, I mean, once you restrict the usability of the platform, you do in some regard kind of shut it down. I mean, it's never going to go away. As you mentioned, Katie, it's there really is no central server for it. It's a very deregulated thing. You just make it so damn hard to use and complicated that everybody just stops and doesn't care. And
people are afraid to get into it because it's not insured.
Well, that's a concern right now. And that's the biggest problem is you've got, unfortunately, so much money in the economy right now and so many people dumping money into crypto and this is the problem with the stock market right now as a whole, dumping money into the stock market on stuff they have no idea about, don't understand it whatsoever, then losing their ass and then blaming everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the U.S. government will do something at some point. They don't have a. They have.
They will have to, or they will be left behind. Yeah. But lately, I mean, there was a lot of bad news about crypto. This crypto going out of business, so to speak, disappearing, losing a lot of its value.
Because they're scam artists.
Yeah.
That's the main reason I haven't really gotten into crypto, is that I've heard some horror stories about, people pretending that it was crypto or something, and then it's like, oh, okay, I'll buy a couple thousand whatever coin, and then I can't access that money, or it just seemed really easy for people smarter than me to take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not, like I said, I'm not uber tech savvy, so I was like, I'm not even going to touch this because I won't be able to tell what's real and what's fake, so I might as well not invest my money. But people that are really smart about it, like that's great, y'all do your thing, but like, it's like I know I'm going to get scammed somehow, so I might as well not even try.
Let's switch gears here. This is interesting. There was a article in Dave's Computer Tips that had this list in there. It says how long it takes to crack your password when it's simple versus complex. So they start with 7 characters. 7 characters of a password, like they have RTHIOEH, takes 9.5 minutes to break it. To make it complex, which is replacing the last character with an exclamation point, takes a month and 2 weeks, so a month and a half.
Whoa.
Now you go up to 8 characters. And 8 characters of just letters, 4 hours and 7 minutes. You take and you change some to uppercase, 1 uppercase, and 1 number. Still 8 characters, but in there's 1 capital and 1 number. 6 months.
Okay.
Now you go to 9 characters. Straight letters, 4 days, 11 hours. And you go and you change 2 of those characters at the end to exclamation and a number. 1 millennia, 6 decades.
What?
Yep. Then you
Dang.
go to 10 characters. Straight letters takes 3 months and 3 weeks. If you have 2 numbers in there and an exclamation, still 10 characters. 3 millennia, 5 centuries.
Wow.
This is with today's password cracking software. I mean, that doesn't mean that next year there's not going to be somebody come out with a quantum computer and does it in seconds. Who knows? But this is how it is now.
So what, does like the software just run through every single combination
Oh,
possible?
yes. Those things are really, I mean, I've seen one running over 10 years ago, and it was ridiculous.
That's insane.
Yep. And then if you have 11 characters, so it's 8 years, 3 months for the simple one, just letters, lowercase. And then if you have 2 numbers and funny characters with 11 characters, 232 millennia, 8 centuries. And it goes up from there, from 12, it goes from 2 centuries of. Now, if you have password of 12 characters with nothing but lowercase letters still takes 2 centuries and 1 decade.
Dang.
But
How
if
many
you-
centuries does it take if I have a sticky note on my laptop that says the password?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many
Good one.
centuries are we talking about now? Are people really? People aren't cracking passwords.
people don't crack password, it's organizations that do that. I mean, criminals.
Yeah, but are they really though? Like, I don't think.
I don't know.
Even you mentioned, like, for example, let's say, like, we talk about some of these companies that get compromised.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have 5-letter passwords, but
Right.
it all comes down to what is it? What do they call it? Social engineering.
Yeah, absolutely. I
So
mean,
you're not even cracking the password, per
Right.
se.
if there was a solution for social engineering, I mean, if everybody suddenly overnight realized I need to do this and I need to do this and we need to protect this, there is no more breaches, no more leaks, then they will have to, the criminals will have to go for cracking password.
Yeah.
But right now, it is much easier to go to somewhere on the dark web and get a list.
Yeah.
But it's
Well, and
just
it's nice because Chrome and I think Firefox do it now too. If one of your passwords is on one of those lists, it will pop up when you log in and
Yep.
say, I don't know how it does it, but it'll say something to the extent of like, hey, this password is
it's what do you call it? I've been pawned.
I know I've been pawned. So I guess they're screening the password before you enter it. I'm not sure
I
exactly what they're
guess.
doing with it.
I've
Um,
seen that on when I go check my password list or whatever, it notifies me when my password has been compromised for a certain website.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
But I don't like y'all were saying, I don't think companies or people are getting hacked through their passwords, through them figuring it out themselves. I 100% believe that it's from stupid emails that they're getting on their work computer. Because I've gotten emails from my work computer and they look legit. And usually you could tell when they're scam because like the wording is weird. They don't use proper grammar, or like there's a logo, but the logo is blurry. Like it's like these little tells that like give it away. But this one looked legit. And it was from YouTube, and it looked like it even had like the copyright thing on the bottom from YouTube, and it had their street address and everything, and like it looked legit. And I got it on my work computer, and I was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "This is a scam." But it looks legit. And so I was even tempted to click it. I mean, I didn't, but like if I was tempted to click it, then somebody at work that I don't know that isn't as savvy or whatever would definitely click it, and then boom, they got crap on their computer and their work computer, and the person can go in and do stuff, and then they have access to the work stuff.
Yeah, so that's the thing is also remember that you said nobody is getting hacked. A lot of people get hacked.
Oh.
Not by people, by Trojans, by a
Yeah, but
virus.
you're not
yeah.
being, but you're not being quote unquote hacked.
Right,
You're
well-
allowing the vulnerability.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
you
then-
right.
That's what I was saying, that there's not a computer that's like pulling up your computer and trying to type in
No.
password 123. It's like somehow targeting you, and then you click on a link, and then boom, you've got a virus.
Well, there is only one situation where people do open up a browser or whatever and type a username and a password to try to break in, and that's hardware. When you know the default username and password for certain, let's say, router, you can try to sign into it and use those because a lot of people don't change them.
Yeah.
So in that case, they many times they have luck, but even those are, I think these days they get machines to do that. So just be careful. That's the thing. But it was just interesting to see that you add one letter from 7 to 8, and it goes to months. You go from 7 to 9, and it's a millennia. I mean, it is just amazing.
So what I'm hearing is that if the Romans had computers, they would at this point have hacked everybody's computers. They had a few thousand years to work that out.
Yep. Now, you know, if you have 12, it's 15,000, 12 characters. It's 15,368 millennia and 3 centuries.
You know, I was just thinking, at that point, you might as well make your password a monologue. Like, you have to log in and you have to, like, sing a soliloquy or something, and then that's how you get into your computer.
Well, and it's true, because these days they say, don't use a complex, as far as, you know, combination letters and all that. Use a phrase that you can think of, like some line from some song or something like that, and just add a couple of funny characters in between.
Well, if you notice, like, if you go to visit somebody that has Wi-Fi from their cable company, the passwords on those cable routers used to be just random letters, and now it'll be like red unicorn 34.
Yeah,
because that's what they're doing, just generating a random phrase, which is way more secure than a random set of letters and numbers.
Yep. So yeah, just think about it. If you have simple passwords, just see what big difference it makes to just add a few more characters and a number or a funny character in there. I mean, compounds it. It's amazing. And talking about hardware, a Miami-based CEO has been arrested for allegedly importing $1 billion worth of counterfeit Cisco equipment from China and then selling it on Amazon and eBay. The Justice Department announced today, that was last week, that it had indicted 38-year-old Anur Aksoy for selling the counterfeit Cisco gear via numerous online storefronts. Allegedly, he imported tens of thousands of fraudulent Cisco devices from China and Hong Kong. He then created at least 19 companies in New Jersey and Florida, dubbed the Pro Network, to help him resell the hardware as genuine through the e-commerce site. When you go and you looking for a piece of hardware new, and the price is just too good to be true, there is a reason.
Can you translate that into English? What is a Cisco?
A Cisco is Cisco is a networking company. They make routers, switches, anything that goes on your network.
And so he bought a buttload of routers and was selling them?
Yeah, but it's not the router that you have sitting there on your desk. We're talking about routers for big companies. Most of the internet, the big guys are using Cisco equipment.
Okay.
It's a company that really mainly sells to businesses and phone companies and things like that. So
was he successful? I mean, like, before the government shut him down?
Well, they shut him down, but who knows how much he made in between. And not only that, but these fraudulent, fake hardware always have back doors in them.
Yeah.
And who knows how many companies out there these days are running a Cisco router, so to speak, because the IT department decided, here's a good price, and and now they are really vulnerable, and they don't even know it.
It's a company espionage. He talking about hacking because now the Chinese government or wherever he got these systems, they could be like, we're in these companies because you're selling our fake
Yeah.
Cisco routers.
Yep. Absolutely. Hey, Gal.
Hello. Hey, don't shout at me, Mom.
You have a note?
Yeah.
Good
Get it on a
morning.
doctor's note.
Good morning. Had a rough night last night?
Sort of. I dropped Chai at 3:30 a.m. in the airport, so it was
Oh, geez. Yeah, I may have.
not much sleep before, and afterwards taking the time to sleep, and then waking up. I actually woke up on time.
And
Just everything was very, very slow, including the computer, which needed multiple reboots until everything would work. So
yeah, I may have to go and pick up Dvir Monday night.
oh, nice.
He's coming earlier. Yeah. Anyway.
What did I miss?
Oh,
Hacking.
talking about crypto, talking about passwords, talking about the Skolniks. Oh, shoot. I did say it, didn't I?
We're talking about a hacker by the name of 4chan. I'm not sure if you ever heard
Yeah.
of him, but he goes by the name of 4chan.
Yeah, and the Chinese government infiltrating bootleg Cisco products.
Yep.
Bootlegged Cisco products.
It's fake.
I'll catch up later.
Yep. Now, here's an
Amnon,
interest. Huh?
in all of your stories,
Yeah.
is there a story about a cyber attack on the Israeli government site?
No.
I don't think that actually exists, but the Israeli news is full of that.
Really?
And it's full of that, but only 6 days ago, and there's no follow-up, and there's nothing. And I think it's like something some Israelis are talking about, and it all seems like on a Saturday, which you know what Saturday means in Israel.
Yeah.
On a Saturday, the website probably went through some maintenance or had some issues, right? And everybody is blaming this Iranian cyber group, which took responsibility back in April to some cyber attack that didn't affect anything. Like the news articles, they all read on Saturday, a few people from around the world couldn't fill up the Israeli government entry form that you need to do before a flight, and they're thinking it's all probably there was a cyber attack. Now this goes out in 7 news outlets online. All of them are just popular, general news. None of them are tech news, and none of them have any specifics.
Well,
there is one site, the only site that is written in English, the Times of Israel. There, they actually mention a DDoS, right? But in a probably paragraph. And after that DDoS probably paragraph, there is, back in April, this and this group, right, took responsibility for an attack. And I was reading all of this. This all came up with a conversation with my mom, and all of the headlines are very, very alarming, very, very clickbaity. Like even on the main news outlets, but all of them like a blurb, very, very, very short blurb. So real bizarre. I was thinking that this would never work here in the States.
I don't see it bizarre. I would think that this may be a precursor to Israel retaliating for that admission of that group. And
I don't
they
know,
just
this
need
sounds to me like a lazy IT guy who messed up something and
Hey, watch your
thinks
mouth.
there's
We're
no-
not lazy IT guys. All right, enough.
all IT guys are lazy by design. If they weren't lazy, there wouldn't be any automation. So
Maybe the Rogers guy got a new job, and
He's working for the he's working
that's
for the,
what I'm
he's working
thinking.
for
That
Israel.
is exactly what I'm thinking. It's like exactly the Rogers situation on a very small scale, but somebody's just blaming, like suggesting, right? Maybe it was a cyber attack.
like, don't
It's
worry,
so
guys.
bizarre.
That's all right.
We were attacked, but we got it. Our defenses shut it down.
Exactly.
We're so good.
So
All
what
right.
was the issue? Oh, you don't need to bother yourself with that.
Well, it was Saturday. We closed the office. What do you expect?
Exactly.
You know. Listen to this. Law students getting ready to take the bar exam digitally may run into a serious issue. One of the nation's most frequently used test-taking software package, Examplify, is incompatible with Intel's latest generation of processors. In a notice to users, ExamSoft, the company that owns Examplify, writes that 12th generation Intel processors aren't compatible with its software. New Windows devices containing the Intel 12th generation chipset are triggering Examplify's automatic virtual machine check. These are not currently supported. Therefore, they cannot be used for the upcoming July 2022 bar exam. One user drew attention to the issue in a post on Twitter and included a screen cap of what appears to be a notice given to bar applicants. Can you imagine a software suddenly that's not compatible with a processor?
Well, it makes sense because this software is, and this is not just for the bar. This happens with, if you take actual tests on like tech certifications and things like that.
Yeah.
There are these proctored exams in which you install software that will check your screen, will do all of this stuff. You hook a webcam up to it so that they can make sure that you're not cheating. But they should be able to pretty quickly update their software. They should be able to update their software and solve the problem. It's just something different with these 12th gen chips, which, by the way, I've been waiting for. Gal has convinced me that I instead of buying an 11th gen laptop, I need to buy 12th gen. So I'm still holding out on my new laptop until I can find a decent price for a 12th gen. But
they are amazing. Like compared,
but yeah, this is not the craziest
thing. They finally caught
thing
up to Ryzen. It's like wow.
Well,
I guess. Well, maybe I'm not going to buy a 12th gen. I won't be able to take the bar that I've been diligently studying for.
I wonder, would they work on the Oculus?
they're not talking about bars that you go drinking.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. But either way, I've still been studying very hard. Yeah, so this must be some sort of anti-tamper protection or something like that within this software.
Maybe
that just verifies that it's an actual computer, and that there's no. I mean, because people will cheat.
Yeah, so I'm guessing, right, that on a computer, it monitors that you are within that application the entire time, and you're not exiting that. And if you're running on a VM and there's no way to distinguish between that, then it's a lot easier to cheat the VM, right? Because you can feed the VM whatever you want, and that is basically another computer. Interesting. Never heard about it, right? Because I haven't done any official testing online. But yeah, that's an interesting system. I wonder what's the difference. It's whether So the article said it's not supported in the 12th gen. I wonder if it's
it says
another
this
way of achieving it on the 12th gen.
No,
I
it
doubt
said-
it's completely gone.
It said that this device is not supported,
Okay.
and
Not because something has changed in the instruction set. Then.
No,
Just
I'm sure it
because it's not
has.
in
And
the
that's why.
let me tell you, now that you mentioned it, Nick, I'm thinking back, and there was software that for a website that we used to install for people, and it got to the point where it said, nope, this version of PHP is not supported,
Kind of.
and went back and forth, couldn't figure it out. And it turned out when the company couldn't understand why. But I opened the installation, which was all text, and there was something there, and I'm not a programmer, but I saw that it mentioned PHP 5.3. It says if PHP something 5.3, then something. So I said, you know what? Not too long ago, we upgraded to 5.6. Maybe that's what it is. So I went and I put 5.6. Sure enough, everything worked like a charm. It's like it was hard coded in the installation that it has to be up to PHP 5. It said 5.2 through 5.3. And after that, when I told the company, I said, oh, yeah. So I said, well, every time I install this, I'm going to change it to 5.9 so it will not do that again. And that was it. So yeah, they should be able to fix something in there real quick, because it'll be just one instance where they are checking the machine. And after that, it should be fine. So I don't know if anything happened since. This is about a week old.
It's Y2K all over again.
Yeah.
A number changes and the machine shut
That's
down.
worse than Y2K. Y2K didn't shut anything down.
I know.
That's
well,
not
you
true.
see, it went to a 2,
Well.
and the computers were like, you can't handle 2s.
Yep.
Can I
yeah.
can I do specials before I
You
have to get
can.
out
I
of here?
was just going to say, okay, so that's fine. We can do specials so you can leave.
Yeah, sorry to throw off everybody's
Yeah.
schedule.
Okay, wait a second.
So we've got a special. What?
No, I need to get there.
We've got a special 1-page edition. The typical extra. Read all about it. Special 1-page special for Sunday, July the 24th, 2022. All right, let's get into it. We'll start off here with a couple of televisions. By the way, these specials were incredibly hard to compile. this week, there is nothing for sale as of right now. It's got to be all the stuff left over from Prime Day. So let's start off here with a 40-inch Vizio. This is one of their Class D series FHD TVs. It is smart, but it's the Vizio smart stuff, which isn't terrible. It does have some apps on there. I've got 2 Vizio TVs that have this. I've never used it really, except for screencasting. I use Roku's. So it does have some of those basic smart functions. Maybe if you're putting it in a bedroom or a second TV in an office or something, maybe you don't need all of those features. It's a cool deal for that. This is normally $415, and it's on rollback at Walmart for $198. This is a really, really good deal for a 40-inch TV. And again, it's a Vizio over at Best Buy. Here's another cheap TV as well. Again, maybe an office or a spare bedroom or something. This is an Insignia, and this one comes with the Fire TV built right in. This is a 2021 model of a 43-inch 4K TV from Insignia over at Amazon. This is normally $300. It's on sale for $189. Save 37% on that. And it's got all of the typical hookups that you would expect. And if you're in the Amazon ecosystem, maybe this is a better deal. So a couple of bargain TVs there. Moving on, for folks that are purchasing new laptops and are wanting to fully embrace USB-C, here is a mono price 100 watt 4-port USB-C, and it's also got 2 USB Type A chargers. So you could use this to charge a laptop and a couple of other devices and not have to carry around a whole bunch of different bricks. It's normally $64.99. You save 45% over at Mono Price and you can get it for $36. And Mono Price is, I believe, currently running a free shipping promotion. So you can no shipping or anything. I guess you'll just pay tax depending on where you live. And you can only order 20 though, so that's the only disadvantage. That's available over at Mono Price.
You know what?
Moving on.
You know what I hate about this ad? Every other charger, they're always talking amps. 2.4 amps, 3 amps, 1 amp. Here it is, 100 watts. Okay, so what does that translate to?
So Amnon, if you zoom on the image, you'll see why it is. Because there are a lot of combinations of the different amps that it pulls depending on what you're connecting to.
Okay, all right.
And the 100 watt is the total sum of the capacity of this charger. Yeah, there's like 10 lines of different variations.
Okay.
So you're right, it's not as easy, but if you go into the details, you'll get everything that you need.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what it means. It means it supports a 100-watt light bulb. Duh.
All right, Nick, going.
Yes, and yeah, the combination, it's all on the Mono Price page. You can see how it's all broken down.
Okay.
But if you travel and have a bunch of USB-C devices or just a bunch of devices in general, something like this is a lifesaver. So you don't have to worry about those stupid little bricks. Next up, again, it was a tough morning. But this mouse, this is the Microsoft Modern Mobile Mouse. I have had the first gen model of this since I was a senior in high school. I still have it. It's the same. It's not this current model. This is a newer one, but it's the same design and same model. And I've bought a couple of Bluetooth mice in the past couple of years, and a lot of them are garbage. This Microsoft mouse, it's very simple. It's flat. It's got a scroll wheel and 2 buttons. That are 3 buttons, I should say. Scroll wheel also clicks. This is a phenomenal mobile mouse. It doesn't weigh anything. It takes 2 AAA batteries. I have been incredibly happy with mine. So if you're looking for a very portable Bluetooth mouse, and I think I've only changed the battery maybe 3 or 4 times in its lifespan. This is the Microsoft one. It works with every device that supports Bluetooth. It's normally a $35 mouse, but it's 46% off. You can get it for $18.99 over at Amazon, and it comes in 21 different colors. So you can choose your color to match your design. But I've been very, very happy with the original version of this mouse. So yeah, check that out over at Amazon. And everybody loves Chromebooks, and especially sub $100 Chromebooks. Here is an HP 11.6-inch Chromebook running an AMD A4 processor. It's got 4 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gigabytes worth of internal storage. It says it's normally $225. I don't know why you'd pay MSRP for it, but it's on sale for $97.90. So if you're looking for an incredibly cheap computer for child, a grandchild, or a specific use case, you really can't beat sub $100 for this, and that's over at Walmart. This is a nice computer and it's a really good deal. It's an Asus, and my current laptop is an Asus. I've been very happy with it. It's their ZenBook Flip 13. So I'm sure you can imagine, it flips all around. It's completely convertible. It rocks a 13.3-inch touchscreen. It's got an i7 processor on it. I'll come back to that in a minute. 16 gigabytes of memory, and then a built-in 512 gigabyte solid-state drive. So looking at the specs of it, unfortunately, it is an 11th gen Intel, which is probably why it's on the sale that it is. But even with the 11th gen Intel, this laptop is MSRP'd for normally $1,250. So this is
which is still a good price.
Yes.
So yeah,
this is a very nice computer for the price.
Nice.
If you're not hell bent on having a 12th gen processor and you need a kind of a workhorse of a PC, it does have integrated graphics, but it is the new Intel Evo graphics, which is nice. So it's not the crappy old Iris. This is a really hard price to beat at $799, and this is over at Office Max. This only runs until next Saturday, so you've got this week. You can pick it up in store, or you can purchase it online, depending on where you are located. That's the Asus ZenBook Flip 13. And finally, I kind of like these kind of odd and unique power devices. This is a power strip. It doesn't look like one. It's called the 360 Electrical, the Power Curve 6. And you can see that all 6 of the outlets on it have fully 360-degree rotatable plugs, so that you don't lose an outlet or two when you're plugging in a power brick. They say that this thing is good for travel. It is an Amazon Choice surge protector, so it's high up there. It's got 2,300 or so ratings, and it is 83, and it's got 83% 5-star rating. It's normally $35. You can save 66% on this over at Amazon, plus an extra 10% if you have Prime. So I believe with the price of that, it'll come down to less than $9 with the price on that. So you can check that out over at
Nice.
Check that out over at Amazon.
Nice.
And that's specials, abbreviated special.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So you need to leave, or you just get up and leave?
Well, I
whenever
do,
you
but
need
hold
to.
on. I'm looking at this now. Gal, do you have Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Will you add that to your cart? Because it's telling me that this item is $1.75 because of my Prime saving. I don't know if that's something that's just unique to my account or not. Or Katie, anybody
which
that's
one?
got
Yeah, I was
Amazon.
about to say, I'm about to
the
jump
strip?
on
Do you
that.
see? Does it show you the same thing if you add it to your cart? I don't know if it's something with the Amazon credit card or something like that, but it's showing.
You're talking about the power strip, right?
The power strip, yeah. I see $1.75 for it. The
I'm
tax
checking.
is
Need to check out.
yeah.
Moment. Not logged in.
Mine says 1175, but I have to add it to my cart.
Yeah, add it to your cart and see what happens.
Unless, Nick, did you have any kind of credit or?
I do have credit. But I do have credit, but it just says on the homepage, it says save 10% or save $10 when you have Amazon Prime.
Interesting.
So I don't know why it's doing that. But I just ordered it. It's $1.75 for me.
Order it.
I did.
Oh, okay. Should have got 5.
Or that probably has a 20 thing limit. No, mine says $12.
I guess I just must be. No. This is that stupid $10 Prime credit from the.
There you go.
Bullshit from Prime Day. So that's why it's doing that. My apologies.
Now it makes sense.
I was about to say, damn.
So there you go. All right. On that note, I'm headed off to the beach. So
all right.
We'll see you guys next week.
All right, Nick. Enjoy.
Yep, we'll do. Toodaloo.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Very interesting. Katie, you're sitting too high.
I know. I sat up so I could get that Prime deal.
Oh.
But when Nick said it was $1, I was like, I'm on it. I'm hacking into the system.
It's all right. It's fine. All right. Let's see what else we have here. FCC chairwoman Jessica Rosenwasser has proposed raising the minimum definition of broadband to 100 megabits for downloads and 20 for uploads. That's from Engadget. the previous 25:3 benchmark is both outdated and hides just how many low-income and rural internet users are being left behind and left offline, she said. The chair said multiple pieces of evidence supported the hike, including requirements for new network construction stemming from the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. The FCC had already proposed upgrades to rural speeds through a special program, but this would affect the definition of broadband regardless of where users live in the country. So she also wanted to raise the minimum speeds to evolve over time. She proposed setting a much higher standards of 1 gigabit down and 500 megabits up for some point in the future. I'm sure
So
it'll be here sooner or later.
Does that mean that the bare minimum companies have to offer 100?
Yeah.
Can I tell you,
if they call it broadband.
Oh, if they call it broadband. I am so salty over Spectrum because so I switched to fiber internet at the beginning of this year, which is amazing. And I got a letter. I've had Spectrum for like 10 years.
Mhm.
And I got a letter when Spectrum bought Time Warner or something. I don't know, like in the past 5 years. They were like, oh, your internet's been upgraded. Like I had the bare minimum. And they're like, oh, you've been upgraded to 50 or 100. And then I got another letter. It's like, oh, you've been upgraded to 100. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we all went remote because of COVID. And I noticed that my upload and download speeds were like awful. And I'm like, this is so weird. And so then I was like, you know what, screw it. And I didn't check it. I just as soon as I got fiber in my neighborhood, I immediately switched over. So I called Spectrum to cancel, and they're like, oh, to try to keep me as a customer. They're like, oh, well, you're getting 25 megabit internet. And I was like, what do you mean I'm getting 25 megabit internet? I've got a piece of paper from you like 2 years ago that I've been upgraded to 100. Are you telling me this whole time I've been at 25 and that's why my internet is so bad? And she's like, well, I was like, I'm gone, bye. And I immediately, I'm switching to fiber anyways, but I'm like, what? So what, did they lie to me when they sent out those letters saying they upgraded me?
I mean,
sort of. So the reason they sent those letters in the first place was because fiber was coming into your
area
neighborhood.
Yeah.
So that was their default strategy of dealing with the competition. Okay. Now, the thing is, you get a best effort of 100. Right?
Yeah,
so
it
your
says
equipment
up
probably
to.
supports that. The line probably supports that. But until you come and demand what you are owed, right? Then they don't really bother validating that they have actually switched you over.
See, cool. I understand what you're saying. I think it's BS because the letter said
the total BS.
Well, the letter said that we switched you over to 100. You don't have to do anything. We value you as a customer. And I'm like, well, maybe there was an asterisk, like a terms and conditions I didn't read or something.
It's not that. It's not even that. It's just pure like lack of follow-up. They do some. They replace the equipment. They replace the. They change the check marks in the system. But if something didn't go through, right, nobody checks that. So it's not even that. Like but the weird thing is, the person you talked with told you had 25. So somebody downgraded afterwards.
Yeah, they would just
that's the
BS.
big weird thing.
Because I was paying for, I don't know, over 100, and I wasn't getting over 100. I mean, that's my fault too because I never checked. But I didn't think that I had to check. Like I didn't realize that, that they weren't doing what they said they were doing. So I don't know.
I mean, I used to be naive too.
Yeah. Whatever. I switched to fiber and I'm never looking back. And it's been amazing. I mean, I work in videos all day. So the fact that it would take me beforehand like 9 hours to upload like a 2-minute video, which was
Right.
ridiculous. That's why I switched over. Because like this is not sustainable. And now fiber does it in like a minute. And
Yep.
So that's the thing.
Can't
It's
beat
like
that.
even if you would have stayed with Spectrum and they would have upgraded you to what they claimed you were getting and all that, you would still won't have that upload.
Right.
And fiber, but correct me if I'm wrong here, Amnon. AT&T doesn't provide full symmetric.
Yes, they do.
Oh, they do. So yeah. So then fantastic.
Yeah, there is no more asymmetric with them
Okay.
or
good.
with Google.
Yeah. So as long as you get the symmetric upload, download speeds, that is what makes it just absolutely awesome.
Did you
I would
check,
agree.
Katie? Did you check your speeds? Do you check it?
I don't know. No, maybe
The
not.
easiest way is just to open
Yeah.
testmy.net.
Yeah. I mean, are you talking about testing my fiber? Because my fiber is great. Even if it's not.
you need to check it every now and then, and because sometimes it could slow down, and maybe a reboot helps.
Oh, I see.
Or if you see that something is really bad, then you need to call them and say, "Hey, something is going wrong here."
No, it's been great. The only thing that kind of sucks is that every now and then my internet goes down, and then it pops back up after like I think the longest it's been out is like an hour.
That's AT&T?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's
That
weird.
sounds like Nick's experience with them.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah, it happened yesterday. I was watching something on my computer, and then it just cut out connection. But then it came back. Excuse me, it came back up like 10 minutes later. So I don't know. Every now and then it flickers. It might be my Ethernet cable too, because I've been using the same Ethernet cable since internet was invented. So.
I mean, that's easy to check, right? Just replace it and see if that's it. But
Yeah.
Oh, and always check. So if your computer is down and it's on a cable, right? Check your phone's Wi-Fi and see what's going on there.
That's true too. I know it definitely goes down because my security system. Well, maybe I shouldn't say this, but my security system is hooked up to the Wi-Fi, and so when it goes down, I get a notification. They're like, "Our security is offline. We're backing up to this system."
Mm.
Yeah, I would also try and reboot the router, the switch, the modem if you have separate ones. Yeah. But yeah, you need to check it every now and then.
The router is yours, or do
No,
you
it's
have a
AT&T's.
router of yours in between?
You can't with AT&T. You have to use theirs. There's no equivalent out there.
But you can put your router. You can put your router in pass-through mode.
You can put your router, but you have to use their modem, and it's
I wonder
better
if it was just a software update.
I don't know.
That could be it.
Their router modem is great, though. I mean, it's really, really good.
I mean, like I said, I love it. It's been great. The only thing that sucks is that every now and then it goes down. But it comes back up, so it's not like out. I've only had one time there was an outage, but I think it was because Google Fiber came through the neighborhood and added themselves, and I noticed that but they probably cut a line or something. Whenever there's construction or another competitor
possible.
coming through, I always notice the internet will cut out randomly sometimes, so it could totally be that too.
Yeah, I mean, now they have permissions to dig very, very shallow, so it happens. But,
it's ridiculous how shallow they put it.
Yeah, can I just talk about I went to mow the other day and I noticed that the cable, the AT&T cable is being exposed in the dirt. And I'm like, well, how far did they bury it? Like half an inch? Like it's already exposed.
Oh.
They're supposed to go, I think, 1 foot.
Yeah, well, he definitely did not go 1 feet.
It's ridiculous. But that's what you got. You can always call them and say, "Hey, I need you to come and check it." With me, it's the other way around. I mean, I see Google Fiber goes down. I mean, like for seconds, but the minute it just goes down, my SSH drops from my servers, so I know the next morning, hey, Google went down.
Oh, do you
With
have
18
Google Fiber now?
Huh?
You have Google Fiber now?
Yeah. I have Google Fiber and AT&T Fiber.
Oh, last we talked, you had Spectrum and AT&T. So
Oh,
you
no,
it.
yeah, that's been a long time.
Oh, dang.
But the AT&T, boy, it's solid, really solid. I don't know. Anyway, listen to this. Netflix wants linear TV to die. CEO Reed Hastings has been banging the TV murder drum for more than 8 years now, and in the investor call today, he reiterated his belief confidentially, saying that Netflix was in a great place because linear TV would be dead in 5 to 10 years. Hastings
what does that mean?
The regular TV
Yeah.
where you tune in according to what they show when they show.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hastings is financially incentivized to say this. One of the biggest competitors for the largest streaming service on the planet is the set of totally free streaming channels that beam to any TV with an antenna and their costlier friends on cable TV. I like how they say that. They're costlier friends. It's the same friends, but they are costlier on cable TV. Yeah, he thinks it's going to die in 5 to 10 years. And I remember 15 years ago, we used to say that radio is about to die because the internet is taking its place. No.
Are they coming after Sesame Street? Because isn't PBS free? It sounds like Netflix is starting beef with Sesame Street, and that's not going to end well.
Good comment.
Know. I mean, Amnon.
Yeah.
You can't say radio is alive, right?
Well, it is.
I mean, radio has diminished really, really meaningful.
Yeah, it has, but it didn't die. I mean, we thought that it's going to completely die, or a lot of people did.
So let's ask this, right? If you're comparing this to radio, okay?
Yeah.
How is radio consumed today? How much of radio is consumed
mainly it's
via
in the
AM and FM?
In the car, yeah.
Right. In the car.
Yeah.
Nobody's tuning to radio at home.
Probably
unless
not.
It's through some internet attached device, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a lot easier. So, fine. But most people are consuming, right, asynchronously today. Even when we're talking about linear TV, right? Cable boxes today record and allows you to view whenever you want.
Right.
So even that.
Even antenna allows you. Even antenna allows you with Plex.
Again, that's Plex, but it's the same thing. It's you are recording. You use a PVR or a DVR, right?
Yeah.
So in a way, you don't need the TV station to work in that way. So is linear going out completely? Probably not completely. I've seen a couple of server applications that hook up to a Plex or a Jelly Bean server or a Kodi server, right? And they provide you all of your content in a sort of program where you tune in instead of searching, right? So you have like different channels, meta channels that you create from your content, right? And then when you switch on the TV, you just look at what's on the schedule and you flip channels, right? So maybe there'll be a niche market where that experience is still wanted, but that experience is way down the line. Everybody wants the on demand. So I mean, he's not wrong. He might be wrong about the timeline because he has an agenda, right? But other than
Obviously.
that, it's not completely wrong. One thing that he isn't stating, and I think that's the most, I would say, in a way, terrifying thing from my end, is he's pissing off advertisers. Because today, right, linear TV lives by advertising. And the Netflix model today does not have room for that. And so if he's saying that is going away, advertisers should come to us, right? And that's what I'm reading between the line. That means they're going to ruin the Netflix experience also. So they've done so well up until now, but now they're going to botch it. That's the feeling. And that's the feeling we have, I think, for the past, 3 to 4 years, right? Something in what they're doing is starting to put off people instead of bringing them to their service.
Well,
and
Netflix
they used
has
to
already
be the
announced
gold standard.
They've already announced that they're offering ads. So all the streaming services nowadays, you can get a cheaper option with ads, and which actually I do most of the time. So let's see, Paramount Plus, I think it's like $10 a month, and I do the $5 one that includes ads. But I have ad blocker, so I don't see the ads anyways. So
Right, because you watch on your computer.
I watch on my computer. Yeah. But I don't think what this linear TV is going to go away completely. And the main reason is because of its accessibility. It's easier for people to have a TV and attach an antenna and watch their content than maybe, and this is economical too, because with Netflix, you have to pay, what is it, like 15 to 20 bucks a month to watch Netflix. And then you have to pay for internet, which can be $80 to $100 a month. So I mean, that's pretty expensive for a low income family. And so, and then they can rely on the TV with the antenna for their entertainment. But I don't know if that bothers Netflix, because I don't think they're going after, I don't think that's their demographic, maybe per se. Like they want to target people that have that disposable income to pay for this premium service. So I don't know if the linear TV is they're both in entertainment, and people can have both, but I don't think it's going to go away just because it's like I said, the accessibility of it.
First of all, it's not going away for two specific things, like passive entertainment in bars, restaurants, and stuff like that.
Right.
It makes sense there, right? It's just otherwise, what will happen is those bars, and if they want to keep those screens on, they will need to pay for some curating. They're already paying a premium tax just to have those TVs, right? Because they are broadcasting in a public area. And now, if something will change, they will need to, pay an aggregator service to make sure that those screens always have some content, so fresh content. So I'm guessing those are definitely, they still want this linear TV experience, and they would pay the minimum they can for it. And the second crowd is live sports events, right? Without linear TV, you don't have live sports events. I mean, you can have them online, but then again, the premium is way too high. The economy of scales, they crash down, right? So for that particular audience, I don't see that changing. And I agree with you with those who consume today linear TV, whether on cable or whether by the air, right? They are those who do not want to be bothered buy the content themselves by choosing the content. They want to just see what's on. I just think that crowd is shrinking more and more. Are they going away in the next 10 years? Probably not. Will it go away completely in 50 years? That is a good question. I don't know what will happen in 50 years, right? What sort of catastrophe will get us back on the air only or whatever. But it's definitely going to be less and less. It's just the convenience. When you compare the convenience, and when you think in 50 years, you're talking about low income, right? We're talking about a situation where, at least in my mind, if a low income family today can afford a cell phone or a landline, right? Then I'm guessing that their TV will be something similar. Internet will be something similar. It's not that part isn't going away. What will probably go away is the infrastructure, because you still need to maintain that infrastructure, right? Anyway,
yeah.
I see where he's coming from. I also think he's full of shit, but on that particular part, he's probably correct.
Maybe.
Just not with the timeline.
Maybe. All right. Remember last week we talked about Facebook now takes that last part of a URL out that tracks you.
What?
Yeah.
I missed that
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, it cleans the URL. So well, listen to this. Facebook has started to use a different URL scheme for site links. This is coming from GHacks. To combat URL stripping technologies that browsers such as Firefox or Brave use to improve privacy and prevent user tracking. Some sites, including Facebook, add parameters to the web address for tracking purposes. These parameters have no functionality that is relevant to the user, but sites rely on them to track users across pages and properties. Mozilla introduced support for URL stripping in Firefox 102. And that was Firefox removes tracking parameters from web addresses automatically, but only in private browsing mode or when the browser's tracking protection feature is set to strict.
Which is, I think, strict by default now, right? We talked about it like a few months ago, 2 weeks ago.
I don't remember. Anyway, Firefox users may enable URL stripping in all Firefox modes, but this requires manual configuration. Brave browser strips down tracking parameters from web addresses as well. It is no longer possible to remove the tracking part of the URL, as Facebook merged it with part of the required web address. So they found a way. I mean, I'm sure hope, and I'm sure that they'll figure out a way how to filter it and reconstitute the URL. But
look, if it's required, then we'll do something very simple. We'll just put junk in that all the time. Yeah, I mean, they'll definitely that's the first extension that will show up. Something to just put blank there.
But it's amazing. Here is something good for privacy, and no, they're going to have to.
I think what's amazing is their approach. Instead of reaching out to the consumer, to their end users, and saying, "Look, we understand you want privacy, right? But here's the way we work and provide this service for you, right? And we would like you, for this site, to disable the filtering, right?
Mhm.
You like Facebook? Just for this site, please disable it. And I wonder, right, if they invite users to do that, how many would actually do that? Now, Firefox today, unfortunately, is such a small market,
Right.
right? That fighting that specific audience seems to me you are just by trying to whack-a-mole, right? This small contender,
Yeah.
you are vilifying yourself so much, right? That you're just it's the hate cycle again and again. They're just
Mm.
slapping more hate on themselves by their actions, which I always find amazing. They always have the wrongest instinct online.
Yeah. And they're doing something else. They are changing the way they show users posts and videos on the flagship social network. Part of an effort to get people to watch content from accounts they don't already follow and better compete with the video app TikTok. The main feed on Facebook will now be called Home and will be a place for people to discover new content that Facebook thinks that they like, according to a company blog post. That includes photos and videos selected by software algorithms, which will surface content based on users' interests, both from accounts they follow and those they don't.
Well, wait a minute. Isn't that against the point of Facebook? Okay, I'm gonna simplify what I think Facebook is. Facebook is a social media application where you can connect with your friends and family and you keep up with each other.
Katie.
What?
It was.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't go on Facebook to meet new people. I don't go on Facebook to see strangers' things. I only go on when I go on Facebook. It's to see what my friends and family are doing. So why are they? I don't want to make friends with strangers. Like, I mean, unless
doesn't work anymore.
unless I meet them. No. Talk about an invasion of privacy. Because I'm like, I don't know. I wonder if it will be stricter or maybe not as intrusive if you have your account to private. My account is like super duper private. The only people that can see me are my friends and family, and that's it. Like strangers can't see me or whatever the strictest thing is. And I wonder if they start this implementation or this thing with the algorithm and they show things, if people are going to see my stuff, or maybe they won't because I'm set on private. I don't know. They're doing that thing.
It's more about following. So the thing is that these personal networks, they don't tend to grow, not exponentially, right? And so the only viable way for Facebook to stay relevant is growing these communities within Facebook, pulling people in. And the only way to do that, to keep you on the app, keep you on the site, is for you to watch another thing and watch another thing and be exposed to another thing and read another thing, right?
That's what it's
so that's what they're trying, because the others are doing it very effectively. Reddit is doing it effectively with text, images, and video. TikTok is doing it very effectively with video, right? YouTube has never really lost ground, even for TikTok. And now, whatever they lost a bit, right, they're picking up with their, I think it's called Shorts. So everybody's trying to do the TikTok game, basically, where you get people's attention for a very short time, but you always feed them. This actually goes counter to exactly what the Netflix guy said, right? Linear content is being pushed just in a very different way.
I don't understand. Because isn't this why Facebook bought Instagram? So like Instagram is an application where you can find strangers that already is sending you similar things. You look at it for a short time and you like the content and you move on, but you're looking at stranger things, or you're following communities, or you're following artists. So what I think would have been better is if they maybe they can not merge Facebook and Instagram, but maybe like have an Instagram feed on Facebook or something where it's not necessarily your Facebook that is being displayed, but maybe it's your Instagram if you want to hook up that account together. Like, but it gives the user the choice whether or not they want their content out in the public. And then but Instagram already has it all set up. And so when you make an Instagram account and you set it to public, you're agreeing for your stuff to be out there so other people can follow you or find you.
Right, but you're I mean, again, it's the questions, all of your questions are correct. They're just from the point of view that doesn't interest Facebook Meta in any way, right? They don't really care about the point of view of the content creator. They care about the point of view of two sides only. And one is their revenue making side, and which is ads, and two is how do they make their influencer, right, more alluring? Like, how do they make them bring more people into the platform? And that is the only thing that interests them today. They used to be a social network. They, I mean, the term social network was pretty much coined, right? It wasn't coined by Facebook. It was actually, I think Twitter was more effectively in coining that term, but Facebook was the social network. It's no longer that. There's the old school users that are still there, that are using their actual name and are sharing personal thoughts and tidbits from their life. But look at how Facebook has promoted groups. Look at how Facebook has promoted brand content and sponsors, right? And when you talk about Instagram, look at how Instagram changed. In the past, you would only see what you were following on. And if you wanted to explore, you would go to a different page. Then when you finished catching up on your friends, it will show you a bunch of suggested posts. Today, you cannot unsee those suggested posts because they're embedded into the stream that you are watching for the stuff that you follow, the friends and the influencers that you chose to see, right? So even though you're going through what you wanted to see, you're still getting content that you didn't ask for. And that's exactly what they want Facebook to do. And they'll continue doing that until people will start leaving, which probably won't happen because they are effective in analyzing and tweaking the algorithms to make it more, to enhance the glue and keep people glued to the screen. And I don't think so. And I really think that you and me are not the generations that they're pointing to. They want the fresh ones, those who are not encumbered by the history and the abuse, and they're gonna abuse some new people. That's exactly what they're doing.
What you just mentioned, you gave me a new perspective because I was thinking too personally. I was thinking like people to people sharing.
Right.
But what I would see where I would use it and where it would be beneficial is if I actually saw local businesses. And so like I go to the homepage and maybe my local restaurant is having a special, I don't know, a special on Saturday night, and then they want to make an announcement and I could see it on my page. I'm like, that actually would be useful. Like I would be interested in seeing stuff that's going along or what's going on in my community. That sounds useful.
But you already did that by joining your neighborhood's community or something, right?
Well, no, I don't. I don't join anything really, and I don't join businesses on their pages. But I am open to seeing what's going on, and especially if there's this company called Offline, and it's local. It's like a website that was made locally in the Triangle area, and businesses sign up and they advertise things that are going on, like if they're having a special event or whatever, and you'll get notifications or you get coupons or something. And if Facebook had something like that, that would be pretty cool. But again, I don't want things like shoved in my face. Like I want to see the options, and then I want to choose what I want to look at. The problem with Facebook's UI right now is that a lot of the stuff dominates the screen, and like, this is what you're looking at right now. This is taking up the whole screen, and I'm like, no, I don't. And then I scroll past it, but I'm like, I don't want to do this. If like they had like an easy to read feed, and then I could be like, okay, focus on this. But yeah, I was thinking too personally. Like, I don't want to see a stranger's kid's birthday party photos. Like,
oh, you won't. Trust me, you won't. You will see the latest funny memes from some influencer.
It's so stupid. Everything I see on Facebook that is memes, it's always like 2 months too late.
Well, that's because Facebook, right?
Yeah.
It's for the old people right now. The hip new gang is just elsewhere.
Yeah, we're on TikTok. Woo, woo.
I was actually reading an article this week. I didn't save it, but this guy that figured out how to pause at the end of a page and bring the next page up. I mean, just continue it. Just like if you go on Amazon today, you on a phone, you hardly ever see next page. If you
right, because the moment you go to the end, it just continues.
Yeah, it continues. And this guy invented that apparently some time ago, and he was saying that he's sorry he did, because this actually created a monster, because it makes people stay online longer.
Yeah. Look,
interesting.
The person who invented the ad bar, right? Remember in website, there would be a bar at the top with the ad. Those were called ad bars. Yeah. So the person who invented that is sorry for that. Because these are all
are sorry people
who invented some technology. And yes, this is exactly what I'm saying. All of that technology is completely awesome. They cannot be responsible for the misuse of their technology, right? It has nothing to do with what they invented, because if they wouldn't have invented it, somebody else would come a week later and invent it, because every invention is a cumulative effort towards, right, a certain direction. Now, the marketing person who saw that and had a light bulb up his head and said, "Oh, I can make people stay longer." Those, I say, kill everyone. But
this leads. That's a perfect segue to this article here. It was the title was "How Companies Subtly Trick Users Online with Dark Patterns."
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
And
dark patterns is the practice of tricking you into doing something you didn't want.
You didn't want to do.
The most common thing is, you get a question, and let's say, "Do you want to cancel this subscription?" Right? And you'll see the "No, keep me here" in a huge big button, and you'll see yes, continue with like a very small link. That's that's a standard dark pattern.
So the article says, like, it's an unsubscribe option that's a little too hard to find. A tiny box you click thinking it simply takes you to the next page, but it also grants access to your data. And any number of unexpected charges that appear during checkout that weren't made clearer earlier in the process. Countless popular websites and apps, from retailers and travel services to social media companies, make use of the so-called dark patterns, or gently coercive design tactics that critics say are used to manipulate people's digital behavior. The term dark patterns was coined by Harry Brignall, a UK-based user experience specialist and researcher of human-computer interactions. He began noticing that when he reported to one of his clients that most test subjects felt deceived by an aspect of their website or app design, the client seemed to welcome the feedback. That was always intriguing for me as a researcher, he said, because normally the name of the game is to find the flaws and fix them. Now we're finding flaws that the client seems to like and want to keep. I mean, there are so many ways of doing this, and the bottom line is to either keep you there or to get data from you. And this is why when you go some places and let's say you want to order something, or they say, how do you like this? Let us know. And you go and they said, so tell us, how do you like this? And you click 5 stars and continue. So now they already got that answer. In the continue, they said they may ask you what city you live in. And you put the city, and then there's a next. And as you go, they get another piece of information and another piece of information that by itself doesn't look like anything. But if you think about the end result, now they got everything in one thing. Why couldn't you do it all on one form? Because people will not fill it in. Because say, hey, I don't want to give you all this. You just ask me a question. But they manipulate you to do it. That's why they sort of like call it dark. So you're not aware that you're doing it, and you're doing things that you wouldn't do otherwise. And that's bad. And you see it in a lot of e-commerce situations.
But is it illegal?
No, it's not illegal. It's immoral. It's unethical.
There's no regulation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's checking
Right.
to see that's where was that last week or the week before? We talked about a European group suing Amazon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
About using dark patterns on their unsubscribe page.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So there are those who are trying, but it's not.
I unsubscribed from something. I don't remember what it was years ago, but it was like I couldn't even figure out how to unsubscribe from it. I had to Google it, and Google took me directly to the link on how to unsubscribe it. And then I clicked it, and then it was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then it took me to a completely new page, and they're like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Then they clicked me to. Then they sent me to another page, and it was like, "Well, if you don't unsubscribe, here's an offer, and it's 50% off." And I'm like, "No, just unsubscribe." And I had to click it like 3 times to get it to not do it. And then I said, I couldn't even find it. I had to Google it.
Yeah, we had an online company event a couple of weeks back. Actually a month and a half back, and one of the things the company sent us Grubhub e-gifts cards. Okay, so we could lunch together because it's remote and all that. And so I registered to Grubhub's Grubhub Plus, so I'll pay less for the food shipping, and they also give you a first 30 days free. So I registered for that, and after the week has gone, I saw that I'm probably not going to order in that rate anyway, and so it doesn't make sense to me to be subscribed. This was before the Prime deal, and so I went to cancel. I go to cancel, and as you said, it's are you sure you want to unsubscribe? And then after I say, then it goes on and says, if we give you, I think they were offering like $15 in a gift card, right? If we give you $15, will you stay for will you not unsubscribe? I mean, I could have taken that, right? And then, after a month unsubscribe, the monthly is 10, I think. So it was basically, here, take $5. But it feels like, come on, people.
Yeah.
Right? I came here to unsubscribe. Allow me to unsubscribe.
Yeah. Why else am I here? Why are you asking me?
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm not smart enough. I can't make this decision on my own. It's like, stop treating every person like a stupid kid. Come on.
Oh. Yeah.
The only time I actually did not unsubscribe is I had Paramount Plus, and I was watching a specific TV show, and it was over, so I went to go cancel, and they're like, "Oh, we keep you. How about for $1 a month for the next 3 months?" And I was like, 3 months for $3? I was like, sure. So I signed. I kept it, and I watched some shows on there, and then of course the next 3 months come back, and I go to cancel, and they didn't offer me a deal the second time, so I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's offer me that deal without me going to unsubscribe.
Yeah,
and
right.
Be upfront about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like,
I just signed to a year free of Apple TV Plus.
Through the phone company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kathy
they
got
have good shows.
Kathy,
watch For All Mankind.
I don't use it. Kathy uses it, and she got a year's free when she got her new iPad. And she told me the other day. She said it's going to expire on the 26th. Are you going to get that thing from the T-Mobile? I said, okay. So I went in, and sure enough, did it, and everything was fine. So yeah, but we'll have to wait and see until next time. Anyway, listen to this one. A security firm and the U.S. government are advising the public to immediately stop using a popular GPS tracking device, or to at least minimize exposure to it, citing a host of vulnerabilities that make it possible for hackers to remotely disable cars while they're moving, track location histories, disarm alarms, and cut off fuel. An assessment from security firm BitSight found 6 vulnerabilities in the Mycodus MV720, a GPS tracker that sells for about $20 and is widely available. The researchers who performed the assessment believe the same critical vulnerabilities are present in other Mycodus tracker models. The China-based manufacturer says 1.5 million of its tracking devices are deployed across 420,000 customers. BitSight found the device in use in 169 countries, with customers including governments, militaries, law enforcement agencies, and aerospace, shipping, and manufacturing companies. Can you
Wait.
imagine?
What does that mean? Is it saying that there's GPS chips in cars and that they're vulnerable?
This is something that you buy. Yeah, you buy a GPS tracker. Like you have a shipping company and you have like UPS. So you buy 5 million of these things and you put them in each car.
Oh,
each
so
truck.
it doesn't come.
It doesn't
Dang.
come built in. No.
Oh no, you scared me there for a second when you were reading that. It
No,
sounded
no.
like the GPS that comes in those fancy cars. My
No,
car is a
no,
dumb
no,
car,
no,
so
no.
it doesn't have GPS. So I use
It's
Waze.
a tracker that sells for about $20 and is widely available.
It's the Cisco thing all over again. If it's
well,
cheap and it's too
kinda.
good to be true, then it's too good to be true, right?
No. It's fine. Those things don't cost much, the trackers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But this particular one has vulnerabilities that nobody ever looked at before. Imagine you driving and somebody suddenly, okay, let's switch off his gas. Let's turn his car off. Geez.
It sounds like a hostage situation.
Huh?
What was that hostage situation? I don't know if it was at the beginning of this year or last year where they locked down something. Was it gas? Like some cyber hack happened and they had to pay like millions of dollars to unlock it. What was it? I can't remember.
There was something over here with the pipeline.
Yeah, the pipeline. Yeah. It's it sounds like it's going to be a hostage situation.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they didn't say that it happened to anybody. They said that it is possible to do that with this.
Uh-huh.
So they said, don't use it now. I don't understand what it means. At least minimize exposure to it. What do you mean by minimize exposure? It's either there or it's not there.
Yeah. You have to, I don't know, take it out of your car and install a map on the dash.
That's fine. That is absolutely fine. All right. It's that time of day. There was one other thing here, which was interesting. Imagine you're working on your novel on your home computer. It's nearly finished. You have already written approximately 1 million words. All of a sudden, the online word processing software tells you that you can no longer open the draft because it contains illegal information. Within an instant, all your words are lost. This is what happened in June to a Chinese novelist writing under the alias Me Too. She had been working with WPS, a domestic version of cloud-based word processing software such as Google Docs or Microsoft Office 365. In the Chinese literature forum Elkong on June 25th, Mitsu accused WPS of spying on and locking my draft, citing the presence of illegal content. I don't understand. I mean, there's no way that she couldn't have kept a copy on her local computer.
Why not? If you're using something online, you don't have a local copy.
If you're using Microsoft
Google Docs, where do you have a local copy? Everything is in the web browser on the server.
You cannot save it to your computer. You cannot download it to your computer.
No, you can, but if you never did.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, why didn't she do that?
Yeah.
Back up.
Especially
First of
living
all, I
in
don't
China.
know that specific software, so maybe there isn't an option to download. But still, it's like, then she lost whatever was the last part of her work.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever happens here, right? It's not about shaming her into not doing something. It's about
absolutely
something really sinister going on when it comes to personal, private. But it's a great example of why cloud isn't the answer for everything, especially your personal photos and stuff, right?
Right. Absolutely. You cannot.
That cannot be the only one.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing when people are taking pictures on their phone and then, oh, my phone broke. I lost all my pictures. What do you mean you lost all your pictures? If these pictures are important, then download them to your computer. sync them to Google, and then download. I mean, there's so many ways, and it's not about shaming her. It's about others need to learn from that experience.
Agreed.
We all need to learn from that experience. You have something important, you back it up.
It's kind of scary that they had some kind of software or whatever, I'm assuming, that scanned her document. Or it could be maybe something more nefarious where somebody was like, we're going to shut her down, and they just said that it was something that was in the document.
Well, they don't need to explain.
You know, I know, but but I was thinking they could have either scanned the document and they're like, no, or straight up the whatever service she used decided just to block her.
Yeah, she probably put something in there that the authorities didn't like, or somebody in power didn't like, and they had the power to do that.
Yeah.
But if she copied it, if you copy your stuff, if you save your stuff to your local machine, then yeah, they can come and take the machine. And over there, I'm sure they can. Without, you know.
Time to go back to typewriters.
What?
I got something scary to share.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen.
Okay, so we need not to talk. Let Gal talk so it doesn't go away.
Oops, sorry. Where's that? Yeah. Okay. So this is a text conversation from a couple of days ago. G there, it's not me, it's a different name. Mine is only 3 letters long. That's a bit longer. G is an employee, and S is a high-ranking manager in the company, like CEO, CFO, CTO. Okay?
Okay.
And this is the conversation. Hi, G. Let me know if you get my text. And while bizarre, because it's coming from a different number, this number is a 620 something number that isn't identified by G. It's signed by the name, the full name of that manager. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 4:33 p.m. 5:22 p.m., about 50 minutes later. Are you there? Another question. And hi, S. Yes. G responds, thinking it is that manager, an important person in the company, right?
Yeah.
I'm in a conference call meeting right now. Can't talk on phone. I need you to complete a task real quick. And the follow-up response is, oh, yeah, sure, right? I need to provide a client with an Apple card. Can you confirm if you can grab some from any store? And then continue.
Yeah.
The main reason for the delay, the non-response at first was because this was immediately caught as a phishing scam. Okay?
Good.
But we asked the person to continue the conversation, see where it will go. Okay, so to show this to others and share this. If you ever get a text message from somebody that you know asking for just anything, right? And there's an action that is involved, always validate. Even if the person says they can't answer the phone, if the request seems bizarre, then look up the phone number, call that person, find a secure channel to talk with them, right? This is just a live example. And I know personally, not this occurrence, but about a year and a half ago, I know personally of a person who fell into a very similar trap, right? And fell through that rabbit hole. And only after losing a very substantial sum of money, right, realize that they were duped, that like because they were, once they started, once the hook was in, the culprit, they do not let go. And the moment you are in stress, then you lose your faculties. You make mistakes, right? So the time to stop it is before it begins. And I just wanted to show this example because this like is literally, I've been I've seen this firsthand from while this was happening, secondhand, sorry, while this was happening, and I just wanted to share this on the show because it means it might jolt into reality some people. So yeah, this is like a bizarre one, and just to to explain what's going on here, right behind the scenes, the reason they are approaching you by name and using somebody high up in the company is because that information is publicly available in sites like LinkedIn and Crunchbase, and they should stay public. It's good information, but make sure it doesn't bite you in the ass, right? Make sure that you don't fall for the trap of being intimidated just because the big boss reached out, right?
Yeah, and don't look for it only in texts. I've seen this happen to one of my customers in email.
Yes.
That the boss says, I'm not going to be able to be at the office tomorrow morning. When you come in, could you blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And luckily, they called me and they asked. And I said, send me the email. And they did. And I looked at the headers and I said, no, it did not come from your boss. So, yeah, you need to. This actually happened a couple of times with a couple of different companies. And the last company that it happened to, which nothing happened, nobody fell for it, but they were asking us to do something that we're looking into right now, which is to, if it comes from if it says that it's from XYZ at your company, and it's not coming and it's not being sent via the Delta Force server, put external on the subject line.
Yeah.
So
that's part of the filters that are very common today.
Yep. But yeah, that's it's a problem.
It is.
You learn something, Katie?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm like the worst person for a hacker scammer to go after because as soon as I don't recognize the name or it's an unknown number, I just immediately delete it. And sometimes people are like, "Hey, did you get my message?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't have you in my phone, so I just deleted it. I guess I'll add you now." But I just whatever it is, I just delete it.
No, that's
by the way,
fine.
That process, right, of you getting a contact from a friend, when you're doing it face to face, that is what in security world it's called establishment of trust. That is how all encryption basically works. It's about exchanging an encryption key, right?
Mm-hmm.
So end to end, point to point, end to end encryption, as in Signal, for example, right, is all about that. Is you are contacting a person that you trust. The trust is established by the phone numbers that you both have, right? And you are exchanging the first connection. There is an exchange of keys, public and private keys, so that conversation cannot be duplicated. The endpoints cannot be duplicated. Nobody else can use that identity in this conversation. And what happens, for example, when one of the parties changes phones, right? one of the things you'll see in a Signal conversation, you'll see midstream that the fingerprint of the encryption key has changed because a new encryption key has been rolled, and that should trigger, right, an alert. And so if you didn't know that the person changed phones, suddenly you get that information, right? Stuff like that. So yes, the most basic part of it is make sure that when you get the number of the other person, it is always from a trusted source, preferably directly from them, right? Not always possible, but never trust something that comes in and demands action, right? And it's not from a source
you really
know.
you really also need to know to pay attention to the tone of the message. You need to know that you know the person, because they can spoof a phone number. Obviously, they put a name of somebody that you know. So you need to so, you know, I mean, if you're getting an email tomorrow from me, Katie, and I said, "Hi, Katie, this is Amnon. Wasn't it fun last night?" And you say, well, wait a second. Amnon never says stuff like that.
Report him to the police.
Then you know. Then you know. Hey, something is. You get the idea. You need to know who you're talking with and how they normally talk or write you, and say, this is different.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Like anything that I get personally, it's super obvious if it's a scam or not, just because of the tone.
Right.
The only time that I wouldn't say I've been tricked, because I've never been tricked, knock on wood. But the thing that has come close to where I'm questioning it is when is my work email. They're like super sophisticated when they try to target your work email. And but I always what I end up doing is I immediately contact the IT department. Like the one that was kind of that I don't want to say it almost got me, but it had me questioning, like, is this legit? Is there was a company that I get external emails, and sometimes I almost think that labeling it as external doesn't do any good, because my company uses third-party businesses that we need to actually pay attention to their emails. So it's like, even if it's labeled as external, it can still it's still useful or still bad. Anyways, I got an email saying that, the company is switching, and this was external. The company is switching over to using this password system. And the month before, my company actually switched over how they were doing passwords or whatever, and they sent an internal email. So I was like, okay, is this a part of it? Like, I don't know. But I immediately emailed the IT department, because, of course, it had a link in the email, and it was like, to follow through with this, click that, and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, I'm not going to click on any links because I know better. So I emailed IT, and they're like, nope, that's a scam. Don't click on it. But it looked legit because it happened at the same time. I don't know if it was a coincidence or if maybe they had insider knowledge that we were switching over our password stuff internally anyways. So but again, if I ever have a question, I always ask IT first.
Just be aware. That's the trick. Be aware of it. Just like when you walk at night, you should be aware of what's happening around you. You should be, when you're a computer, be aware of what's happening on. Yep. Good. All right. It's the time of day that we need to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Anything?
Farewell.
Anything else? Anybody need to talk about? Guess not.
Nah.
All right. So thanks, Katie. And thanks, Gal. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Donna, Dina, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Again, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM. And you can tell your Echo device to just play 980 The Wave. Or you can always go to nickcraig.com and listen to the recordings. And on Tuesdays at 7 p.m., Nick and Brian do the Infection podcast, which is for survival games and gaming on Twitch. So Tuesday evening, 7 p.m., twitch.tv/Infection podcast. See you next week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.